Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shareen. I'm an interior designer from New York City, and in this video we are going to be talking about a project tour. Love to give you a little tour. This project was converted from a nursery over into a teenager's room, and we're doing finishing touches like changing out the pillows, which don't overlook this. This is important. We're going to do it today. Thanks. One thing that my client asked for was a record player. This record player is a Crosley, and it is ivory colored leather, which is beautiful to the touch, but also adds just a little bit of texture. The walls have a similar texture on it, so it kind of blends in and goes away if you don't want to see it. But when you open up the lid and you're playing your music, I think it's a really lovely addition to this tall men's chest that we opted for. In New York City, you have limited space, of course, and so if you want to have decent clearance and still get enough storage, you could have gone for a smaller dresser, which would have been longer and wider, but I like the idea of having a little bit of passage and space on this side and a little bit of passage and space on this side, where you can put plants or you can put a hamper or anything else that you want to place in this corner and still be able to utilize the space, but still get the storage that you need from a closet perspective, because the closet's tiny. Not going to show it to you. This nightstand here is also a great addition. Nightstand height is a tricky one. You want to be sure that you're finding something that's relatively the same height as the bed or the mattress. So you want to take a little bit of consideration of what the bed frame height is, what your mattress height is, if it's a platform bed that doesn't have a springboard versus one that does have a spring, and then what your nightstand is going to be, because there's nothing worse than lying down in bed and not being able to reach over here, or imagine having something up here versus something down here. It's definitely better to have it right where you need it. As I mentioned, this record player is one of the fun and whimsy pieces in the room that just gives it personality. I do believe in designing with all five senses. I have a video about designing with all five senses. I will link that up here. And music is one of them, like the sound is one of them. Sometimes that could be using city quiet windows in a space where outside might be really loud, or using drapery to drown out the outside noise. And then designing with that sense can also be what is actually playing in the background of that area. Moving over to these baseboards that are a lot more modern, give a more sophisticated look and feel to the room. The trim has a little bit of traditional edging to it, but the actual baseboards are straight, and I think that that gives you a more mature feel. I also love the way this line plays in, dividing that room. What it does is it creates some more height in the space. There are always things in a room that you can't change, and how high the ceilings are sometimes one of the things that you can't change. So having this split in the middle kind of conceals everything that's happening beneath this 4-foot mark. The bedding on here is layered. I would encourage you to stay away from the bed in the bag effect and get separate pieces that can work together cohesively, because this is a young person's room. I wanted to go for something more relaxed. So using softer linens and quilts, like using softer fabrics and materials like linen, for example, which it's okay to give you that kind of relaxed feel, but not necessarily going jersey per se. Jersey is a bit of a stretch. I wouldn't go that far, but the linens I definitely like. So most of these sheets have a linen blend into them. The rest are all organic cotton. I do a trick where I double stuff the shams. So instead of just using one standard or queen size pillow, I would put 2 inside of the shams, and then you have your sleeping pillows behind, and that obviously is okay to be 1 pillow. In front, I did put these throw pillows that are a bit older from West Elm. I like that they have just a little bit of silver on the front of them to tie in a new color and a new metal, because all of the other metals in the room are brass. Don't be afraid to mix your metals. And then in front of that, we have a lumber pillow that has a little bit of an industrial feel and also gives you that linen softness over in the front. And that is how I opted to dress. Oh, this quilt here at the end, it is a cotton blend, and this will help to, of course, keep you warm in those colder months, which we are going into very soon. As far as the art on top, those pictures are actually the stock images that came in those frames, and I wanted to reframe it, and the client actually really liked the way that they were. And so we left them like that. And I did some flow and symmetry by turning the angle of the pillows to go on outsides, to face the outside, which is the same thing that's happening up here. So we're mimicking what's happening here, down here, in order to get some cohesion. I did use 3 colors in the bed and introduced kind of like a warmer, kind of mushroom tone, which is this, the quilt, and that ties in with the new carpet. These ceilings are actually a whole moment. They were formerly popcorn ceilings, which is very traditional for homes that were built back in this time. We did scrape the popcorn and re-plaster and paint the ceiling. And I think that it just gives you these clean lines that modernize the room quite a bit. And it helps to create flow with the line going across the middle when you see a bunch of straight lines. Now we did balance that with the light fixture, which is this beautiful circular adjustable LED light. I know some people aren't quite feeling LED lights anymore, but I definitely love them and think that there's a time and a place for all of that. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that how I feel about hanging curtains up to the ceiling, maximizing the length of the room as much as possible. And in this room, I decided to do a top-down, bottom-up shade, which I think is the best scenario when you have a bedroom and you're gonna want some sort of privacy, but you also want to be able to get the light to come in. We did opt for light filtering. However, I think it's fun to be able to play with these. So these are cordless cellular shades and they're top down, bottom up. We also redid the frame of the window because the frame was a bit old. This is a room of many doors. We have access to the attic, access to their closet, and access to exit the room. So we went with a very simple mirror. A taller bezeled mirror would work perfectly fine in this space. A nice chair in the corner. There should always be a place for people to come in and sit that doesn't have to be your bed. And then next to it, we just have a clear basket that has a few more pillows that can be used as accent on the bed, or it would be a great place for a hamper in ensuring that this room is totally functional. One other thing that I would like to do and change is to put that light on a dimmer. I know you're probably laughing because you couldn't believe that I put a toggle switch in here, but we do have the dimmer that is next to come. And I just want to showcase that light fixture for you one more time. So that is what that beauty looks like when it's turned on. And I just love the halo effect that it creates up at the top. This floor is a beautiful plush mushroom carpet, which I think those colors tie in so beautifully with what we did on the bed. And just to soften up the black and white a little bit more. You could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you chose to be with me, and I appreciate that. I am thankful for you, and I will see you next time, next Thursday to be exact, right here on youtube.com/Green Shareen. And if you want to know more about what's going on behind the scenes, you should sign up for my newsletter at greenshareendesign.com. The link is below in the description box. Ciao.